Good evening and welcome to Michael Pepper Tech. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy talking about tech, but not just about products, not just about apps, not just about software, but ideas, and get really intellectual, analytical, and have kind of a discussion on how this affects our lives, how our lives affect technology, experiences that I've had, and lessons that I've learned that maybe can prevent you from having some of these negative experiences and learning these lessons and things that can help you. Please subscribe. If this is your first time here, let me know in the comments. Of course, if you like this, give it a big old thumbs up on your way in. And let's get into it. So the topic for tonight is lack of knowledge killing the smartphone market. And so I had an experience recently that I kind of want to tell you all about. And if you're new to the channel and you're like, what's this guy with this crazy hair? And well, my name is Michael Pepper, and I don't only talk tech, but I live it. And by that, what I mean is I share experiences because I feel like that creates a better connection. And we are all human and we have these like experiences, and I feel like this is something that more people need to do. And being relatable helps create kind of that connection, and that's my purpose. That's my goal on my channel, is to be more relatable, to be more connected. So as people come in, if you're watching this in the replay, as people come in, you'll see that I will greet them. I will click on comments. I'll interact. And this is the joy of being live. But also, if you leave a comment down below in the replay, you'll notice that I will reply, usually within a few minutes, sometimes later, but pretty quick. And so, hi Tech Lovin' Mama. She says, I like the new YouTube animation when you click the thumbs up now. Yes, it has this like star effect, and it's wonderful. And so what I want to talk about is I went to the T-Mobile store, and I went there for a couple of reasons. One was I've been running eSIM on both my iPhone and my S22 Ultra. And if you don't know what that is, it's the electronic SIM. It means, you can basically activate it without having to get a physical SIM card. You can activate through different carriers, through different plans. You can have more than one plan from the same carrier on there. So if you wanted to have a secondary number, and depending on the device, depends on the support and depends on what's allowed. With like the iPhone 13 series, you can actually have two eSIMs, and you can have one for like your calling and texting and one for data, and you can switch back and forth. You can have, like I have T-Mobile as my calling and texting, and then for data I have Visible, and then if I'm in an area where T-Mobile has good signal, I have T-Mobile as data. So I went into the T-Mobile store to get that physical SIM card and to talk to them about potentially trading in my S22 Ultra. I got the lovely white here to get the OnePlus 10 Pro. And some people are going to be like, whoa, hold up. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Well, I got a really good deal on this device, and I just wanted to know what it would give me, what the experience would be like. And so I went into T-Mobile, and I'm talking to the guy, and he puts in my IMEI, and he's like, well, it's telling me I can't do this. Now, keep in mind, I just walked out of there because I wanted to experience what it would be like if I'm just a customer coming in with, basic knowledge of I have this device and I want to trade it in, and I give them the IMEI, and what happens? Well, the problem is I know, because I looked ahead of time, that yes, this device can be traded in. You can trade in any of the iPhones going back to like the iPhone 12 series to get basically get it for free. You can trade in, I think, back to the 10R and maybe the 10 to get like 350, 450 off. And as far as the Samsung devices, you can go back to, I want to say the S20 is the farthest it goes back. The S22 series, they will give you it for free. The S21 series, I believe, is on there as well. And the S20 series will give you, I think it's 450 off. So the problem with this is this is the experience that people are having. They go in and maybe they got a deal on a device and they paid it off and they're like, you know what, I decided I don't like this. I wanted to go with a different company. I don't know. Maybe somebody had a OnePlus and they, really liked OnePlus devices up until like the OnePlus 7 Pro series, and then the 8 came out and they had a bad experience with the 8 and the 9, let's say. And so they jumped to Samsung and had that, after the 7. They had that for a couple of years, and now they want to go back to OnePlus. Or maybe they just wanted to trade it in. Who knows? But the carriers need to train people to be more knowledgeable about when somebody comes in and says, hey, this is what I want. I want to trade in. This is what I know is available. If there's an error, they need to figure out why it is. Appeal to the customer. For one, if I'm trading in an unlocked device to the carrier, the reason they do these deals is because they know it guarantees that you're on with them for probably 2 years. And if not, you're going to have to pay that device off early. So they're still getting money, and they're still going to have you probably locked in for a decent amount of time, because if not, you would have just bought the thing outright. You wouldn't trade in a device that's worth more. You wouldn't go to them. You wouldn't, trade in an unlocked device to pay payments every month, and your taxes are going to be higher, and also it locks you into a certain plan. So this is where carriers are causing kind of the lack of knowledge at the carrier level can cause issues with smartphone sales. But as a content creator, as someone who talks about technology, as someone who watches a lot of content as well and experiences this is not an uncommon incident. And I feel like we all need to look into this, and we all need to really understand that when we go to these places, they don't really know the best. Do your research as someone going into there. Look it up ahead of time. Search your device. Put in your information. If you don't know how to find the IMEI, you can Google how to find it. You can go and search for it in the top of the settings and search for it. Usually there's a code you can punch in the dialer and get to it. Then use that. Maybe even go in the chat and chat with somebody. And then you can have that emailed to you, and you can print it off and say, hey, this person told me. I also have this that shows. Because carriers are just people, and they don't have your best interest at heart entirely, because unless it benefits them in a sale or making money, they're probably not going to care. And here's the thing. If you're doing a device trade-in to get another free device, that doesn't necessarily benefit them in the same as like, oh, I want to add a device and I want to pay monthly payments on it. I want to, add another line. Because I could have been like, oh, fine, I'll just add another line. I'll just pay so much for payments per month for the device and so much per payments per month for the line. And then, put so much down and walk out. Because the deal is, if I were to trade this in, what would happen is, because I looked it up, I would have about $245 that I have to put down, because they'll only hold so much. They'll only hold, it's like $700. So when you do the math and you do the taxes and stuff, deduct about $700 out, $245 down. And then the rest is done in monthly payments as credits to total for that to be free. Now keep in mind, this device right here is already on a secondary line that it's a free line. I have a few free lines, because when we signed up, they had the We transferred 2 lines, and they had to get the third free, so we did that with an Samsung A10e, which and we also had a Pixel, and then we we traded in for a couple devices, including a Samsung A10e and a Pixel. Then took the SIM card out of the A10e and put it in another device. The Pixel I upgraded from the 3A XL as a free line to the Pixel 6. Then this line was another free line that was given later. I actually have 3 free lines, where basically I don't pay anything to have the plan. It's just for the device. So if I bring my own device, I've paid off the device. If there's a upgrade where you can get a device for free, there's that benefit. Hello, Mike. So, hi, Jason. So, when it comes to this whole experience and it comes to this discussion, it comes to even what I'm talking about, do your research. Find out what the carriers are offering. Find out what the, fine print is. And go in there knowing, like, hey, I know this. They try to, run you around. They try to tell you, nope, it's not on there. Then you can pull it up. You can show them. And sometimes it's just a matter of the person wasn't trained right. This person started working there in December, but seemed fairly knowledgeable with everything. Had to grab their manager a couple times for a couple things. But here's the thing. Be your own advocate. And so, in this, though, the sad part of this, the sad aspect of this whole thing, is that you have somebody going into the carrier, looking for a device, knowing what they want, maybe not doing a trade-in even, maybe just looking to join the carrier for the first time, looking for a new device, whatever. And they go in there and the carrier misses out on a sale, so they go somewhere else. Or they don't go anywhere, they just decide not to spend the money at that moment. And then you wonder why people go, like, if they have an iPhone, they just continually go back to Apple, or they do the iPhone upgrade program, or if they have a Samsung device, they trade it in. It's because carriers either aren't incentivized to push those other devices, but I haven't even really experienced that so much as, like, when I've walked in and been like, oh, I'm looking for a Pixel, they've walked me there. Oh, I'm looking for a OnePlus. Let me check and see if we have any. Like, and I understand this might be my experience, but this has been at, 5, 6 different T-Mobile stores in Michigan here. And so, when your experience is like that, it's really not them saying, oh, we don't want to sell it to you. It's they're not trained to understand what devices are trading in. So if OnePlus is going to make a deal with T-Mobile, or T-Mobile's making this deal with OnePlus, or whatever it is, they have this agreement, they need to make sure that these things are clear and concise, and that the employees are trained when it comes to what these promotions are going to be, and they're going to know way ahead of time. I mean, this is something that's been advertised on one of, like, the forum back pages for T-Mobile's website. Like, I think it's tmobile.com/OnePlus deals. So this is, an experience of what it's like as a customer going in there. And then Jason says, as an AT&T customer, they only show Apple and Samsung. It's like you're speaking a foreign language if you speak of another brand. Yeah, that's part of it too. AT&T, I don't even want to begin with them. I had so many issues when I was on with them, that them saying, oh yeah, you can get a promotion, you can do another promotion as long as it's been a certain amount of time in between, and then basically lying to me and making it so that I didn't. And not only that, but basically it was like it made my account all due at once. And so they wanted us to pay like $5,000 because between iPhones and other devices and all this stuff, and then they started adding all these fees. So it's really up to you whether or not to to get the best device, to get the device that you really want. Ask questions, push back. Don't let them say, "Oh, I think this is the best device for you." Ask why. Question them. Question, okay, why are you only recommending a Samsung or an Apple? Some of them might be, well, that's all I know. Some of them might be, well, there's 3 Apple stores around here, and if you have a problem at all, you can bring it right in, you know, to get it repaired, or if you want to learn about it, you can go take lessons on. Those are valid points. If it's somebody that doesn't have the knowledge, if it's somebody who might benefit from that. But really, because the carriers are failing to ask these questions, they're failing to train people to ask these questions, you have to do it for yourself. You have to push back. Yes, answer questions and ask questions, and you have to see, are they motivated by the sales for the money? Because here's the thing. I've worked in retail, and yes, there's motivation of like, oh, I get so much per, I get an incentive to sell. But if the carrier doesn't get the consumer to come back, then that customer is gone. I would rather sell somebody something they want so they continually come back and buy 9 or 10 more. They come back once a year to upgrade their phone, and they keep coming back. Then sell them something they didn't really want for 4 times the price, and then you lose them as a customer, and they tell other people about the negative experience. So this is what people fail. It's like the long-term goal. And so, yes, lack of knowledge is causing companies to miss out on sales. And I think as far as that goes, it's even lack of knowledge of the manufacturers now. Apple's doing good in sales. Like their sales were up in 2021, was highest they've been in a long time. But their sales are still down. They had like the major boost initially, and then they've gone pretty steep decline now. Same thing with Samsung. And I think part of it is because customers are pushing back. But the manufacturers aren't really inquiring about, okay, what do people want? They're just making assumptions. And Apple's done that for a long time, but other carriers are doing that too. They're like assuming, oh, you're fine with buying all your product from us. Oh, you're fine with giving us your information. Oh, you trust us. But this is the problem. This is the issue when it comes to technology, is we make all these assumptions. Content creators make assumptions that the consumer will know what they're talking about when they use certain terminology, and they don't explain it thoroughly. Or sometimes, I might explain things, and people might come in here and be like, well, duh, I know that. I don't need to know that. Well, good. Then go somewhere else. But that's the thing. Like, the benefit is to the customers to explain things thoroughly, so that they know for sure. And if somebody already knows it, then they're going to go somewhere else, and they're going to find it more concise. And they're going to find somebody who explains things differently. And so the problem is, it's up to us. If we find a product that we like, to talk about it, and people go, and I get that people don't do that, and I get that the channels and the people that are gonna get sponsors, and the people that are gonna get companies to send them products and things like that aren't gonna be able to aren't gonna promote these because they might I can't make money off them. But here's the thing, why not? If you started off doing that and you started building your channel by talking about the products you use and devices from different companies, you could. But that's what people don't understand is this is a huge thing in the US especially. But I'm hearing that manufacturer company loyalty and like carrier issues that's starting to happen to other countries. I'm hearing where like you're seeing where these new companies that are coming in are having a hard time promoting. Maybe if they're a sub brand, like Redmi or Realme or one of these that are under like Xiaomi and the other, they're okay. But then you have companies like Infinix, and you have Huawei was killed off because of bad reputation, they're still there, but they're slowly diving, and they're trying to build back up by creating this experience, by creating the emotional connection, by creating an ecosystem, a habitat. Tech Love and Mama says word of mouth advertisement is very strong. I agree. I rather make sure that this is what they want and lock in reoccurring customer, who in turn will bring in others' experience to your business too. Exactly. Because for me, I'm just as likely to tell somebody about a good experience I had as a bad experience, but I'm more likely to like hammer in the negative experiences that I've had and make sure that people really understand and don't work with those companies than I might be the positive. Unless somebody's like, I'm looking for a better experience, and then I'll say, well, go here, and they might be like, oh, why? I've had this experience at this place and this place. What's going to be different? And then you can explain that. But usually when you speak positively about something, it's just like, okay, I'll try it. But like the negative aspect of things is it's really, you got to prove, and the people will push it off. And that's the other thing that's been going on lately is like, well, I didn't have that experience, so no, it's not a bad device because I didn't have that experience, or I'm not going to talk. It's like, I get that. But when other people talk about it, I feel like this is a common thing that's going on. It goes on Twitter. It goes on in videos where somebody has an experience and somebody else comes out and is like immediate to jump on it, like they have to prove the person wrong. Like they have to negate the person's experience. Like they have to jump on board and say this is not what happened. And that gets old, and it gets sickening, and it gets aggravating. And so for me, my experience has been that carriers and people's lack of knowledge is really what keeps people from having great experiences, because people just trust, people take word of mouth, people don't look at the story, they don't really look at they don't look at alternatives. They see the price on a device and go, well, that can't be as good because it's not $1,000 device, it's a $350, $450, $500, even $700. Sometimes even the difference in $100 can get somebody. They'll say, well, that's not $899, and this other company sells something that, it's $999, and it's got a 100 times photo lens on it, and this one only has a 30 or a 50, and it's like, but then when you look at it, really the 30 and 50 on that would be more usable and better than the 100 times on the other, because the other company is really only doing a 10 times optical or a 20 times or a 30 times. And so it's like, why value is determined by spending more is not necessarily true. And I've come to realize that, like with my iPad mini, that a lot of the experience, my iPhone was super powerful, and a lot of the experience is still there. And, it's not as big and bulky as a larger tablet, as something where basically I might as well grab my laptop. But that's the thing, like knowledge and deep dive and using the device and experiencing it more and more and really, really living with the device and taking our time is really important. And unfortunately, I feel like it's because people watch videos when the device first comes out, and then they might not watch videos later on, or they've already made their mind up about, because they've seen these videos and they've already made their mind up about the product. Like, oh, it's had no software updates. And it's like, well, it should release no. People haven't got their hands on it. People haven't loaded all their apps. People haven't, they don't have the mass numbers to determine whether there might be some bug that's quite literally being caused by, like, brought out by all the apps that are common for people to download. What if there's a bug that only comes out when everybody's on devices and known because of a certain app combination that needs to be known? And so taking time, giving time, experiencing this together, and just kind of sharing our experiences, I feel like is extremely beneficial to my viewers and extremely beneficial to learning and really diving into the device myself and coming to realize, like, hey, what type of devices I don't like and I do like. And, you know, oh, I love this device for a while and then I stopped and then I realized, hey, I don't need that type. Why is that? With my Fold, I had that for a while and then it kind of got to one of those, like, I just isn't the type of device for me. And I have a Z Flip 3 and this device is great and not even considering battery life, what are some of the other issues? But when people kind of fail to live with the device and people kind of fail to talk to people about how they're going to live and use the device, then they really fail to understand what the needs are for those customers. Reps only talk to customers about what they have in their pockets, and that's mostly iPhones. They don't know anything else, and it's just easy for them, which makes sense. It's like, but do you walk into a car dealership and is everybody like only trying to sell people the cars that they drive? I highly doubt, and I know for a fact that this is the case because I've talked to people that work in car dealerships and I've gone to school with people that worked in car dealerships and stuff. They weren't driving these $150,000 trucks or like Mustangs or like all these vehicles or like Buicks and Impalas and things like that were brand new, that were 40, 50, 60, $100,000, $100,000, $150,000, $175,000, $200. They weren't driving these super expensive vehicles, but they're selling them because they know specs, they know the statistics, they know the details, they know what they're capable of, they know how they can be used. But when we pick up a phone and when we go into there and the rep goes, oh, I'm going to sell this to you, they're just selling what's in their pocket because that's all they know. But sometimes they don't even really know that, or they know the same thing, but they would know the same thing whether it was this phone or this phone. They know the basics about the cameras. They know that in general, the battery for average user, not heavy user, on almost any phone is going to last through the day. If you're on your phone constantly for 8-10 hours, doing intensive stuff, it's not going to. But they know that if you're just doing general stuff, texting here and there, checking email here and there, browsing social media here and there, maybe watching hour or 2 hours of video, and then throwing it on the charger, they know that's what they know. but not asking beyond that, not searching beyond that, not discussing deeper beyond that is, I think, why partly why people are getting bored and why people are like, I've noticed people complaining about their videos not being watched, and I think it's because it's gotten to the point where it's like, well, this is basically the same video as last year. You just changed the name. Oh, S22 Ultra, so you did the same video as, it's the same as your S21 Ultra and basically the same discussion. Oh, iPhone 13 series, oh, that's basically the same discussion as last year, except for the battery life is better. And this is where I think that people fail. And so Charles says other reps in T-Mobile told me I know way too much about phones and just sell iPhones because it was easier. I learned a lot by watching people on YouTube and doing my homework. Yeah, like this is the thing I was talking about. Like as a customer, as somebody is who's into tech, as somebody who's whatever. When you go into these places, do your research. Places will lie to you and make sales. I mean, Walmart was huge into that. Like, I remember I was in there walking around, and this lady came in, and this was years ago, but she had an iPhone, and I think it was she had like an iPhone 7 or 8 at the time, maybe even a 6, because this was quite some time ago, but it was unlocked. She had bought it, she had used it, it was unlocked, it had been unlocked, and she wanted to use Simple Mobile, I think it was, or she wanted to be on one of the carriers, and the person tried to say, well, yeah, you're gonna have to buy a new phone, and was gonna sell her the same phone, even though, yeah, I think she had an iPhone 6 and like the iPhone 8 and 10 were out at the time, and was gonna try to still sell her the same phone. It's like, at least if you're going to sell her a new phone, give her a new phone, especially if it's going to cost the same. Because that was the other thing, it was going to cost the same. Because at the time it was like $99 or whatever. And then, you had to be on there for a year, or they made you pay the difference or whatever. But that's the problem. People don't do their research and they just walk in and they trust. And they don't even like pull out their phone that they're on and Google, hey, can I use my unlocked? And iPhones have been able to be, there hasn't been a carrier specific locked model since like the iPhone 5 days, where um you had like GSM and CDMA specific models and stuff. So this is what I mean about lack of customer knowledge, lack of carrier knowledge, lack of OEM knowledge, lack of sales knowledge, just in general, causing issues amongst smartphone sales. But it comes to more than just smartphone sales. It comes to tech in general. Hi, Renz. Um, when in life, when we look to buy something and we want to know, does this suit my needs? The trust that we have when we come to YouTube and we build and we go is amazing. And see, that's what I'm trying to do as a content creator, as someone who talks about technology, as someone who's sitting here and is like, well, why should I trust you? I have no motivation to lie. I don't care what device you end up buying or using. I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's none of that there, and nobody else, and for the most part, nobody else really has that motivation either, because even if their motivation is to sell you on a product, is to a sponsored thing, if you buy it and it's crap, like I said earlier, everybody's going to find out. So this is what I find interesting about the tech space and all these debates and all these arguments and what's better, what's worse, what phone took this photo, oh, these are the devices that took it, which was better. Who cares? Because are people entirely making their purchasing decisions about one factor? Probably not. Because I can almost guarantee if you told somebody, look at this photo, and they went, wow, I can take those kinds of photos, and I can take great photos and videos at night, and I can do this and that. And they went, and then you went to them, and the next line was, oh, but your battery life is horrible, and the charging speed is awful, and so you're going to have to carry a charger with you all the time if you really want to be able to take a lot of photos and videos. Like, for example, imagine your pitch was, here's a Z Fold 3, and let's say it had like great cameras on it, and you said, here's this great device, but the battery is only going to last maybe 3 or 4 hours. If you take video at all, you're going to be lucky if it lasts 2 hours, and it's going to take you 2.5, 3 hours to charge up. People would look at you like crazy. See, that's the thing. People want a balanced experience. So they would take a slightly worse camera if everything else is better. Better battery life, fluidity. Updates are important to people. They, want the device to last a long time. They want to know that they're going to be able to experience the same things as other people as down the line as certain features are added. There's significance in studying what people want and giving them what they want. And so that's kind of my purpose here, right? It's my goal here. I'm doing these live streams, and I haven't been making regular videos because you know what? People have told me they enjoy my discussions. They enjoy this. And you know what? I might not be able to like put out a video and look at it like a month or 2 months later and be like, oh, it has a few thousand views, a few hundred views, whatever. Put out videos every other day and have them add up to tons of views. I might, only get 30, 40, 50 views on a live stream. But the number of people who are here from beginning to end, the people that watch replay, the people that show up, that's important to me. The people that experience life with me in these are important. And so I would rather make content that I enjoy making and that people enjoy experiencing and that's interactive than make a video that gets a few views a little the first time and then maybe over several months ends up getting 1,000 views but maybe averaging like a minute or two watch time, but nobody really benefits from it. Nobody sticks around. People don't come back. People don't learn as much because they're only here for that one thing. They don't get to know me. They have no reason to trust me. There's no reason to build that connection. To me, that's what technology is important. And I've been thinking about like the introspective and the behavioral and the psychological aspect of technology, how we use it to help with anxiety, how it can cause anxiety, how people make the choices in buying the products that they make, the choices in buying. And so I think that when I do these live streams, interacting with you all, that is important. That's significant. I get feedback from you guys. I get experiences from you guys. I get to know you guys as my viewers. I get to understand, like, Charles Monroe, I've seen him in other stuff, and I've seen his comments. But he's made comments in here about things that I never knew, that I wouldn't have known about, aspects of his use of his experiences of with carriers and reps that he's commenting on to me that he might not comment on to anybody else. And I have, Art Dog is in here, and he's been my channel for pretty much since the beginning. And I have different people that come in here, and it's great and it's awesome. And this is what I'm talking about, like the living the tech and the experience. And so I think one of the things I'm going to look into doing. And y'all let me know, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments if you find this fascinating, or, if this is something I should do. But videos about how I use my technology to help with the different anxieties I deal with. I deal with anxiety, like high anxiety on the daily, inability to sleep, social anxiety as far as like going out and interacting with people, and also kind of understanding certain things, and kind of getting other people to understand my weird sense of humor. And so technology, I feel like there's the tool that we use to really benefit, and there's the tool that we use to help ourselves. And YouTube is one of those tools, but YouTube is also one of those things like that has shifted. YouTube is one of those things that we use to interact with each other, to have these discussions, to share these experiences. But YouTube, even so, has shifted, and the live stream stuff isn't necessarily doing as well as what it used to. I understand it's Easter Sunday, so there's a lot of people doing things. So I appreciate each and every one of you who have showed up and are here listening, interacting, people who will watch us in replay. And so that's the amazing thing about this. But then like short form stuff has taken over. TikTok, shorts. So it's interesting that like people either want to sit down, listen, and have these long discussions because they can interact and they know that people will respond and that they can be heard, or short form thing where they can just watch real quick, have a quick laugh, go on to the next thing, or learn something real quick, go on to the next thing because they're busy. But like the middle ground, I've noticed, I feel like that's what's being hurt right now when it comes to this. And so it'll be interesting to see. I really hope that you all enjoy these live streams, these discussions. My goal is to have this kind of be as like a radio show would be. So you turn on your radio. Some people still do, and you hear a certain radio show, and there's Bob and Tom comedy. There's NPR. There's like Family Life Radio. There's Christian Talk Radio. There's all these aspects, right? That I can just sit down and talk about technology. I can talk about what's on my mind. I can talk about what I've experienced, and people will just sit down and enjoy it. They don't necessarily even have to be super focused, super paying attention. They can learn bits and pieces, learn something new. They don't have to worry about like, oh, I gotta go find another video to really explain that. Because if I'm talking about something you need to know more, you can ask me in the chat and I can reply right away. It's the brilliance and the benefit of this. And if you're watching replay, the same thing. And I feel like that is incredible when it comes to our technology and communication. And this YouTube, to me, is more than just like, I'm going to create a video, I'm going to post it, and I'm going to hope people watch, and I'm going to hope people interact. To me, it's a method in which I communicate experiences and knowledge, and I hope that people will reply so that I can experience how you all use technology and learn from you all and get tips and tricks and things like that, and expand my horizons, expand my knowledge as well, so that it's kind of a mutually benefit experience and relationship here, because that's how I love to use my technology to share photos that I've taken, to share thoughts, to share experiences, to motivate, to tell people happy birthday, to give condolences. All these things that we experience together are beneficial, And all of these things that we kind of talk about are beneficial. And to bring this full circle, if we don't experience this and we don't use the technology that we have to experience this, I feel like we're kind of wasting the technology. And we're wasting our knowledge. And what sense does it mean or make to have a bunch of information in your head, to have thoughts, to have experiences, if they're just trapped there and you're not going to share those with anybody else so that you might help somebody, so you might teach somebody, so you might prevent somebody from experiencing something that a negative experience that you had, or help them to get a positive experience out of a product, to help them understand how to use it, to help them understand life lessons, to help them understand or find a particular app, to help understand how to use a particular device to do a certain task, or to replace a certain product, or to appreciate it, or to appreciate you, or to appreciate maybe art that people are creating, or understand the joy of photography, or understand the different aspects of these things that are more in depth and more valuable than just a video being looked at as a video. So I say this to say, enjoy your technology, love your technology. Don't just talk about technology, but live it. Like I said, my name is Michael Pepper of Michael Pepper Tech. I don't only talk tech, but I live it. I love it. I enjoy it. I experience it. And I hope that you all do the same. And I hope that you all come back to do the same with me each and every week as I continue to do these live streams, and as I hopefully start getting back into making videos. The weather is getting nicer out. It means the heat won't have to run as much, or won't have to be as much noise to try to deal with. And as we explore our technology, we experience, and we educate with technology. Thanks for watching. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thanks to Tech Lovin' Mama, Sharkfin Tech, Tech 702, Jason C, Art Dog, Charles Monroe, and Renz for coming by the live. Thanks for those who watch this in replay. Keep in mind, I will be back Wednesday for sure. I might be back here again tomorrow night. If you didn't already, put on the notification bell so you're notified when I go live and post content. Give this video a big thumbs up if you're new. Please subscribe. And good night.